Hello gamers, this is Sai, and welcome back to Which Way Games. Now, why should you be careful when playing with power? And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Now it's amazing to see how far gaming has come and how realistic video games are beginning to look, and I can only wonder what lays in store for the future of this playground of make-believe.
Interesting.
Will gamers be able to step into the role of the hero via an animus, or is that kind of technology reserved to the tales of science fiction and fantasy?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Now I could go on about the endless possibilities that the world of gaming could provide, but before we look at the future, we have to take a look at the past, so with that in mind, let's go all the way back to the 80s. The video game crash of the 80s almost ended the world of gaming, but emerging from the rubble was Nintendo, who would eventually go down in history as kings of the gaming world.
Nice.
But before they received this title of approval, Nintendo first brought the world the now legendary Nintendo Entertainment System. This small grey box of fun has some amazing games such as Metroid, Super Mario and the fantastic Legend of Zelda. Gone were the days of basic gaming, and in its place were adventures where gamers got to live out that fantasy of being the hero. With the NES dominating the gaming scene of the early 80s, it wouldn't be long until a rival would appear, and this rival came in the form of SEGA, who wanted to put their own spin on the world of gaming, and so eventually came up with a games console to rival Nintendo's grey box of fun. This would be the SEGA Master System, an 8-bit console that is loved by gamers all over the world. The SEGA Master System is regarded as some sort of enigma within the world of gaming, with it being remembered fondly by others, while at the same time being overshadowed by the NES.
Now you're playing with power.
With the stage set for one of the longest fights in the world of gaming, the SEGA Master System would begin its battle against the NES. Now SEGA's 8-bit console came with some fancy features such as the SEGA cards, which had their own library of games, as well as the innovative 3D glasses.
Shut up and take my money!
At the time, 3D gaming was the stuff of science fiction and fantasy, but when gamers donned these 3D shades, a whole new dimension of gaming was created. Gamers would become part of this digital world and feel the action firsthand. Well, that was the theory, but sadly this kind of technology was still in its infancy, and it wouldn't be until decades later that this became a slight reality, but that's for another time.
You teasing me, naughty.
Now, despite these features, the Master System still couldn't compete with the NES, especially in Japan and North America, where it was hugely popular. Gamers from these parts of the world welcomed the SEGA Master System with open arms, especially when SEGA released it around the Christmas period and advertising it as an arcade within the home. Such was the popularity of the SEGA Master System that games from the arcade soon started to make that transition to the world of 8-bit. However, this endearing console wasn't just capable of arcade ports. More games from SEGA's secret vault of imagination began to appear on the SEGA Master System, with unforgettable titles such as Psycho Fox, Rampage and the legendary Alex Kidd. Alex Kidd in Miracle World is a decent game, and who was once the poster boy for SEGA, that is until a certain blue hedgehog turned up. The love for the SEGA Master System continued to grow, especially when more and more games started appearing on this great little 8-bit console. And while some of these games lack that polish compared to the 16 and arcade counterparts, the SEGA Master System had that endearing quality that made it popular with 8-bit gaming fans. Eventually the Master System would be remodelled into the SEGA Master System 2. It was smaller and cheaper to make. However, the sleek new design came at a price. No longer could gamers benefit from the extra features of the previous design, so the likes of the 3D glasses and the Sega cards were incompatible for the Master System 2. But perhaps this change led the way forward for the introduction of the Sega Game Gear. Looking back, it's easy to see why the Sega Master System was popular and has since gained a cult following over the years, especially with those gamers that grew up playing some of the 8-bit classics on this endearing console. Overall, the Sega Master System is an endearing console, and despite its limitations, it does have some classic games, with some being exclusive to the small 8-bit console from Sega. Over the years, the Master System has gained a bit of a cult status, with some newer gamers intrigued to see how some gamers of the past played their video games. But what I would love to see in the future is a compilation of all the games that appeared on the Sega Master System, including the small library of Sega card games. Maybe in time gamers will get this wish, but for now this 8-bit console from Sega can sit proudly in the history books alongside the Nintendo Entertainment System. Anyway, come back next time where the cartoon guy returns and finally takes a look at Jason the World Warriors. Thank you so much for watching and see you next game.